Ever wondered what you can and can't do in Singapore? As your plane descends, the anticipation builds. The sight of the city-state's gleaming skyline awakens a sense of adventure. You've arrived in Singapore, a melting pot of cultures, a juxtaposition of old and new, a place where East meets West. As you step off the plane, the tropical air greets you, carrying whispers of the city's vibrant life. The journey through customs and immigration is a breeze. Efficiency is a cornerstone of Singapore, and this is evident from the moment you land. This efficient process is a precursor to the island nation's order and structure, a hint at the unique blend of freedom and restrictions that makes Singapore what it is. A place where innovative skyscrapers coexist with lush green spaces, where street food stalls stand proudly alongside Michelin-starred restaurants. Now that you've landed, let's dive into the unique laws and customs that make Singapore stand out. Public transport in Singapore is efficient, but did you know there are specific etiquettes to follow? Singapore's public transport system is a marvel of modern engineering. It's sleek, fast, and reliable, but like any well-oiled machine, it relies on a set of rules to keep things running smoothly. As a visitor, it's important to understand these etiquettes to ensure a comfortable journey for everyone. Firstly, the cardinal rule of public transport in Singapore: no eating or drinking. This rule isn't just about keeping the vehicles clean, it's also about respect. Imagine stepping onto a bus or train and being hit by a wave of strong food smells. It's not the most pleasant, right? By refraining from eating or drinking, you contribute to a more pleasant journey for all. Another important etiquette is to give up your seat to those who need it more. This includes the elderly, pregnant women, parents with young children, and those with disabilities. In Singapore, it's not just about being kind, it's also about being considerate. You'll often see signs encouraging this behavior, so keep an eye out and be ready to offer your seat. Lastly, maintaining a quiet environment is key. While it may be tempting to chat with your travel companions or have a phone conversation, remember that for some, the journey is a chance to relax or even catch up on sleep. So keep your voice down and avoid loud music or videos without headphones. After all, it's about creating a peaceful atmosphere for everyone. In conclusion, Singapore's public transport system isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's a reflection of the country's culture of respect, consideration, and community. By following these etiquettes, you're not just being a considerate traveler, but also embracing the local way of life. Remember, when in Singapore, do as the Singaporeans do. In Singapore, cleanliness isn't just a virtue, it's the law. Picture this: a city where clean streets are more than an expectation, they're a requirement. A place where dropping a candy wrapper on the ground isn't just frowned upon, it's punishable by law. Welcome to Singapore, where cleanliness is next to lawfulness. The country's strict laws on littering and public cleanliness are a significant part of what makes this small island nation one of the cleanest places on Earth. Singapore's government has a well-known reputation for its stringent rules and regulations, many of which were introduced to maintain the city's cleanliness. Littering, for instance, is a serious offense here. Get caught dropping trash, and you could be looking at a hefty fine. The same applies to spitting in public places, something that is considered not just unhygienic, but also a public nuisance. And let's not forget about the country's infamous chewing gum ban. Yes, you heard that right. Since 1992, selling or importing chewing gum has been strictly prohibited. Why, you ask? Well, the ban was implemented to keep public places free from sticky, discarded gum. Another law that might surprise you is the one against leaving public toilets unflushed. Can you imagine being fined for not flushing after using a public restroom? In Singapore, it's a reality. This law is yet another testament to the country's commitment to cleanliness and hygiene. But why such stringent rules, you might ask? Well, the answer is simple. These laws are in place to ensure that Singapore remains a clean and safe environment for both its residents and the millions of tourists who visit each year. So, the next time you find yourself in this amazing city, remember that cleanliness isn't just appreciated here, it's required. Let's play our part in keeping Singapore clean and beautiful. After all, it's not just about avoiding fines, it's about respecting the environment and the people who live in it. So when you're out and about, remember to keep Singapore clean. Singapore is a melting pot of cultures and religions, and they take their harmony seriously. Picture a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of multiple hues and textures. Each thread represents a unique racial or religious group, with its distinct traditions, beliefs, and practices. This is what Singapore is, a rich, colorful tapestry of diversity. The respect for racial and religious harmony here is not just an ideal, it's an integral part of life. It's the glue that holds this diverse society together. From the multilingual national pledge recited in schools to the ethnic integration policy ensuring a balanced mix of ethnic groups in housing estates, every aspect of Singaporean life is imbued with this ethos. But this harmony doesn't just happen, it's nurtured by laws and regulations that safeguard racial and religious sensitivities. Hate speech or actions that could potentially incite disharmony are not just frowned upon, they're illegal. This doesn't mean that conversations about race and religion are stifled. Quite the contrary. Open and respectful discourse is encouraged. But with the understanding that everyone's beliefs and cultures deserve respect, this respect extends to public spaces too. For instance, during the holy month of Ramadan, you'll notice food stalls in public places covered up during the day out of respect for those fasting. And during the Chinese Hungry Ghost Festival, you'll see offerings placed on the sidewalks, which passers-by take care to avoid disturbing. Singapore's respect for racial and religious harmony is a testament to its belief in unity in diversity. It's a lesson in how to live together peacefully despite our differences. A lesson that's more important today than ever before. The harmony you see in Singapore isn't just about coexisting. It's about thriving together. It's about acknowledging and celebrating the differences that make each culture unique, while also appreciating the shared values that bind us as humans. So, when you're in Singapore, remember to respect the local customs and traditions, not just because it's the law, but because it's part of the beautiful tapestry that is Singapore. And as you navigate this diverse city, remember, in Singapore, everyone is equal and harmony is key. Did you know it's illegal to walk around your house naked in Singapore? That's right. Today, we're diving into some of the most unique and quirky laws you'll find on the sunny island of Singapore. First up, the infamous chewing gum law. Since 1992, selling gum in Singapore has been strictly prohibited. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal about chewing gum? Well, the government decided to ban it after vandals stuck chewed gum on the doors of subway trains, causing disruptions to the public transport system. However, there's a little loophole. You can still chew gum for therapeutic purposes like nicotine gum, but you'll need a doctor's note for that. Next on the list is the mandatory flushing of public toilets. Yes, you heard that right. In Singapore, if you forget to flush the toilet after using a public restroom, you could be slapped with a hefty fine. So, always remember to leave the lavatory as clean as you found it. And then there's the law against singing offensive songs. In Singapore, you can't just belt out any tune that pops into your head. If a song has lyrics that can be deemed obscene or offensive, singing it out loud could land you in hot water. Now, let's talk about the law that prohibits walking around your own home in the buff. In Singapore, nudity in your own abode is considered a form of public indecency if you're seen by others. So, you might want to keep those curtains drawn. Lastly, let's not forget about the ban on littering. This is taken very seriously in Singapore, with offenders facing potential fines, community service, and even a corrective work order where they'll have to clean public areas in bright vests. These laws might seem quirky to outsiders, but they play a key role in maintaining the cleanliness, orderliness, and harmony that Singapore is renowned for. So if you're planning a trip, remember to abide by these rules. After all, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Remember, knowing these laws can save you from a hefty fine. Food is a big deal in Singapore, and so are the etiquettes around it. In the Lion City, the culinary scene is a vibrant tapestry of flavors, a melting pot of cultures. But before you dive into that tantalizing laksa or that irresistible plate of Hainanese chicken rice, there are a few dining etiquettes you should be aware of. First off, you might be surprised to know that tipping isn't customary in Singapore. Yes, you heard that right. Most restaurants and eateries already include a 10% service charge in the bill, so there's no need to leave extra cash on the table. However, if you've experienced exceptional service, a little extra is always appreciated. Next, let's talk about communal dining, a common practice in local food centers. When sharing dishes, remember to use the communal spoons or forks provided rather than your own to serve yourself. This promotes hygiene and shows respect to your fellow diners. Chopsticks are often used in many Asian cuisines, and in Singapore, it's no different. However, there are a few chopstick taboos to avoid. For instance, never stick your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice as it's seen as a symbol of death. Also, don't point with your chopsticks, it's considered impolite. One more thing, Singaporeans take pride in their food and wasting it is frowned upon. Make sure to only take what you can finish. If you're unsure about the portion sizes, it's perfectly acceptable to ask. Lastly, when you're done eating, it's polite to return your tray and use dishes at the designated areas in hawker centers. It's a small act that goes a long way in keeping the dining space clean for everyone. So, as you embark on your culinary journey in Singapore, keep these etiquettes in mind. They're not just about manners, but also about respect for the culture and the people. Enjoy the diverse culinary delights, but remember to mind your manners. Singapore is a shopper's paradise, but bargaining isn't always the norm. Now, that doesn't mean you can't score a good deal, it just means you have to know where and when to haggle, and when to respect the price as is. In the heart of Singapore, you'll find modern shopping malls that rival those of New York and Paris. Here, you'll see dazzling displays of high-end designer labels, cutting-edge electronics, and finely crafted jewelry. In these establishments, bargaining is typically frowned upon. The price you see is the price you pay. So remember to show respect for the price tags in these high-end venues. Now, let's take a stroll to the bustling streets of Chinatown, Little India, or the Arab Street. These vibrant districts are brimming with street markets and independent boutiques. Here, the shopping culture is a bit different. It's a game of negotiation, and bargaining is part of the fun. Sellers expect a bit of back and forth, and if you're polite and patient, you might just walk away with a deal to brag about. But how do you know when to bargain? A general rule of thumb is to observe the locals. If you see them haggling, feel free to join in. If not, it might be best to pay the asking price. And remember, always negotiate with a smile. Respect is key in this dance of negotiation. Also, it's essential to know that some items, such as antiques or artisanal goods, hold a value beyond their price tag. These items reflect the skill, time, and tradition that goes into creating them. So, when bargaining for these, keep in mind the effort that's been put into them. Finally, no matter where you shop or how much you pay, remember to enjoy the experience. Shopping in Singapore is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. It's a chance to interact with locals, learn about diverse cultures, and bring home a piece of Singaporean charm. Shop till you drop, but remember, a bargain isn't always guaranteed. Singapore is a unique blend of cultures, traditions, and laws. It's a city-state that's as diverse as it is fascinating, with a rich tapestry of experiences that weave together to create an unforgettable adventure for anyone who steps onto its shores. Throughout this journey, we've explored the nuances of navigating public transport, where consideration for others is key, and the importance of maintaining the impeccable cleanliness that Singapore is renowned for. We've also touched on the significance of racial and religious harmony in this multicultural melting pot, and how respect for these differences is deeply ingrained in Singapore's social fabric. Remember, in Singapore, it's not just about the rules and regulations, it's about understanding the spirit behind the laws. Some of these unique laws might seem unusual, but they contribute to the overall safety and cleanliness that the city is known for. It's all about contributing positively to the community and making it a better place for everyone. We've also delved into the delightful world of Singaporean cuisine, where the only etiquette you need to remember is to enjoy the food wholeheartedly. And let's not forget about shopping. While bargaining isn't as common as in other Asian countries, there's no harm in trying your luck, especially in markets and smaller shops. In summary, Singapore is more than just a destination, it's an experience. It's a place where old meets new, East meets West, and traditions meet modernity. It's a place that respects and values diversity, cleanliness, and lawfulness. And it's a place that welcomes everyone with open arms, as long as you respect its customs and laws. So if you're planning a trip to Singapore, keep these tips in mind, and you're sure to have an amazing time. If you've enjoyed this video about the do's and don'ts in Singapore, why not give this video a thumbs up? Your likes are the compass that guides us in creating content that you love. And if you're already a part of our VIP-loving community, thank you. You are the wind beneath our wings. If you're new here and you found value in this video, consider joining the family. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to ensure you never miss out on a new destination.